My one regret with testosterone is that I just wish I took it about 9 months earlier. And whatever side effects there are for me have been absolutely worth the trade-off.
Acne, hair loss, mood swings, irritability, aggression, anxiety, depression, insomnia, high blood pressure, increased risk of heart attack and stroke, enlarged heart, liver damage, kidney damage, reduced natural testosterone production, testicular shrinkage, infertility, gynecomastia, and fluid retention. To name a few. Coach Greg, in today's video, steroids, they're amazing. I mean, what is it that Hamza will not do? This guy, he used to be many people's hero, their idol, promoting being natural, doing it the healthy way. But since that time, he's just trying to cope. He couldn't get the physique that he wanted, and so he resorted to using performance-enhancing drugs, and now he wants you to all do the same.
I'm obsessed with my goals. I've split my goals into 3 areas of life: health, wealth, relationships.
Health, wealth, and relationships. His 3 main goals. His 3 pillars. He wants to be healthy, of which he's not because he's abusing steroids. He wants to be wealthy, which he's trying to scam you into certain things. And he wants to have relationships, which arguably, I just don't know.
In episode 4, I showed you my 10-year natural body transformation.
And so he's already started the video by lying. My 10-year natural transformation, this is not what happened. 10 years, of which some of it was natural and the rest was enhanced. He lied to you, pretended to be natural, and then he used steroids in secret while saying, hey, this is how you build muscle. You suntan your ball sack, you eat healthy, you go to the gym. It was bullshit. He was using HRT, and likely in higher doses.
There was always something holding me back. Testosterone.
Testosterone wasn't holding him back. His goals were just simply too lofty. He became a victim of the teeth. Do you know who the teeth is? He's a victim of the teeth. Comparison is the teeth of joy. And so he started comparing himself to guys with way more muscle. Other people with hotter girlfriends, with more money, with better relationships, who are healthier, and said, well, I want that. I want to be an MMA fighter. I want to have better relationships. I want to be more attractive. I am not good enough. And because of that, eventually, he succumbed to the temptations, the pressure of using performance-enhancing drugs. And so because he's using them, he needed to cope. He couldn't just use it and say, hey, I'm doing this. I don't think that you should. He used testosterone and convinced himself and is trying to convince the world that for some reason, because of microplastics, that the world has way too low of testosterone, that you can't build your dream physique because, well, microplastics and bullshit and not enough sun and pollution and you need steroids in your 20s. This is a bullshit.
And I even got a blood test to see what my testosterone levels were, and it was 440 nanograms.
And so 440 nanograms, which is perfectly normal. Healthy. Enough to build a very good physique. I remember Jeff Nipa, the science-based lifter, the dropout dentista. You know Jeff Nipa. He had posted his blood work years ago. It was also in the 400s. Does Jeff Nipa not look like he has an amazing physique? Did he not win bodybuilding and powerlifting competitions? Or more recently, we have Joel from TNF. He had his blood work done a month ago. His nanogram per deciliter, 280. Far lower than his 400s, and most recently, it was in the 100s. And TNF has more muscle than Hamza will ever have his entire life. And so, do you really think you need to have 1,000 nanograms per deciliter in order to build muscle? I myself am on HRT. And why? Because I abused steroids when I was into my 30s, used steroids for 10 years, and now my body cannot produce it on its own. And so if you do in fact use HRT, most likely you will be doing that for the rest of your life. And so you start at 25, 50 years from now, you're going to still have to keep pinning yourself. And so thousands of times till you die, you are stuck with this medication, and so it is a big decision. If you use testosterone and then stop, you can experience more difficulties than you know.
You see, the lab range for men is 250 nanograms to 700 nanograms of testosterone. It takes into account all men of all ages and health.
Okay, all right. And so let's look at normal men in their 20s. It still only averages in the 500s. And so this is still normal. And so if we look at average heights, most men are perhaps between 5 foot tall and 7 feet tall. Does that mean if you're only a 5'6" manlet like Coach Greg that you need limb lengthening surgery because you're below the average height of a man? Average height of a man is 5'9". I'm 5'6". Doesn't mean I need limb lengthening surgery. Average testosterone, 500s for his age. Does not mean that if you're in the 400s that you suddenly can't build muscle. What's more important is, what is your baseline? If you are 400s your entire life and you're still 400s, it's great. It doesn't matter. In comparison, if you were always 800 and now you're 400, that's bad because it's half of what your body is used to. That is more important than simply the number.
And so I started to feel like this range that doctors talk about, that everyone talks about, was just complete and utter BS.
But it's not. It's not complete and utter BS. What really truly matters more than just the number, more than the number that you used to be, is how do you feel? Hamza was going to the gym. He had energy, he was training, he had an above average physique. And so where was the problem? There was none until he encountered the teeth. This guy, he's such a prick. He's a piece of shit. You need to stop hanging around with that comparison. That phone, if you will, where you swipe up, down, left, right, and you compare yourself to the top 1% of the top 1%. You, of course, are not going to feel amazing if you compare your physique to Sebum, to Sam Sulek, to your favorite supermodel. It's not going to make you happy.
So then I went on my journey to increase testosterone naturally.
Does anyone think that even before using HRT that he didn't have an above average physique? He's not comparing himself to the average man. The average man is fat. I just saw a photo of the average female. Did you know that the average woman in the United States is 5'3.5" tall and 171.8 pounds? Fat, 41% body fat. That is obese. And so he's not comparing himself to average. Hamza is comparing himself to the average fitness influencer. Those are S tier. The average fitness influencer, YouTuber that you're subscribing, following because they have an amazing physique, already has an amazing physique. And so if you're comparing yourself to that man, of course you're going to feel below average.
But I never really felt the way that I should have.
He doesn't know how he was supposed to feel. But if you have the energy to train hard, harder than last time, to build an impressive physique, to work consistently, to motivate millions of fans, I'm certain that you feel exactly the way you should be, but because you met the teeth, you decided it wasn't good enough. As he stands there weightlifting naturally, does he look like he has a shitty physique? Does he look like he's hypogonadal, that he's experiencing the rigors of low levels of testosterone, that those microplastics, they've caused such problems in his body that he simply can't build any muscle? This is above average looking physique. This is top 5% of the world at least. And so the problem is, he makes it look like this is average, or perhaps even below average, and that he needed TRT because look at him. I mean, who would want a physique like that? Well, I'm telling you, 95% of the world would dream to have a physique like this, but yet he says this isn't good enough and he needs some drugs.
I always made a promise to myself that when I was 10 years in, I could, if I wanted to, consider taking steroids.
A better promise to yourself is, hey, I'm never going to use steroids. Hey, promise yourself this. I will never use steroids. I don't need them.
What I wanted was way higher levels of testosterone, libido, energy, and drive.
What he wanted to be a superhero. You know, all the characters, the Marvel book heroes, Thor, The Rock, all these superstars. He wanted to feel like that. He didn't just want to be better than 95% of the world. No, that wasn't good enough for Hamza. He wanted to be the best, and the best at all costs.
But then why doesn't everyone do it? Well, it's because steroids have some really, really bad side effects. Oh, wait. Sorry, that's actually the side effects of caffeine.
His little spiel right now is to say, well, Coach Greg and others, you know, these guys, they talk about the negative side effects, you know, like your balls getting smaller, losing your hair, the acne that you can get on your body, the gynecomastia, the horrific HDL, the LDL, the cholesterol, the liver enzymes, your kidneys, the increased potential to get cancers, tumors, etc. Well, all that, don't think of that because, well, caffeine has side effects. Going to the gym and training has side effects. Tylenol has everything has side effects. And so don't worry about the side effects. You know, they won't happen to you. There are a small percentage of people have to worry about that thing. Not everyone has problems. Not everyone dies of steroids. Some people can do this with no problems. I mean, cope a little. I mean, how much copium is this guy smoking? He may not be doing drugs, but he's smoking a lot of that cope.
This is the potential risks of going to the gym. So you see, everything has side effects.
He quickly glances over this. He tries to make a joke about, well, everything has side effects. He's downplaying the risk, but let's just read it. Acne, hair loss, mood swings, irritability, aggression, anxiety, depression, insomnia, high blood pressure, increased risk of heart attack and stroke, enlarged heart, liver damage, kidney damage, reduced natural testosterone production, testicular shrinkage, infertility, gynecomastia, and fluid retention, to name a few. This is not just from blasting thousands of milligrams of steroids each and every week. This is from even HRT, low doses. You need to be careful. And the younger you do this, the worse that it is. Now, if you wait until you're in your 40s, 50s, when your natural testosterone it is in the toilet, it's in the dump, it's actually began to go down, well, perhaps your doctor is going to prescribe it. But when you're in your 20s, when it's already normal, why do you need testosterone?
And also, here's the side effects of having low testosterone.
If you have low testosterone and you're experiencing those negative side effects of low testosterone, by all means, that's what it's for. The doctors prescribe it. Is 440 nanograms per deciliter low? No, it's not low at all. It is perfectly normal. And you can literally see it in his physique. He had energy recording. This is not the physique of a guy struggling with low levels of test.
In my research, I learned that it's the dose of steroids you take that determines the risk.
It's not just the dose, it's the frequency of the dose, it's the years that you've been doing it for. For example, one shot of testosterone once in your life, it's less risky than 1,000 shots spread out throughout 10 years.
It's called TRT, and it's where you take a low dose of steroids to replace your natural level of testosterone, which is too low.
The key word is replace. Testosterone replacement therapy. If he was consistently, let's say, in the 400s, 500s, and 600s all the time, and he's going to Al Gore X, he's getting his blood work taken, and over the years, throughout his 20s, he's 400s to 600s. That is his normal range. And suddenly, he's 40 now, and he goes to the doctor, and it's in the 200s. Doc, I don't feel good. Erection quality, it's not happening. Libido, mood, energy, it's in the toilet. Muscle mass, gone. Doc, why am I in the 200s? I used to be 4s, 5s, 600s. Well, maybe you need HRT to replace the testosterone that should be there. Used to be in the 600s, now it's in the 200s, and so we're going to replace that by giving you enough testosterone to go back in the 400s. If you're always in the 400s and 500s, and you go to the doctor and say, you know what, I want to be jacked because, well, I only got 2 million followers. I need to be more jacked because comparison's the thief. I met up with comparison. I don't like what I looked at. You know, The Rock's bigger than me, Chris Bumstead, Sam Sulik. And so, Doc, sign me up. He gives you 200 milligrams, and now you're at 1,500 nanograms per deciliter. That is not replacement doses. That is what we call supraphysiological. Say it with me. Supraphysiological. You know, it's a big word. It means to have more than your body would have produced. More. And so you are not replacing your testosterone. You're giving it more than it would have ever made in your entire life. And I don't care if you're talking about your Neanderthal ancestors. I don't care if it was the Liver King's great grandparents. People's testosterone levels were not normally 1,500. And when you are at 1,500, you know, supraphysiological, the body, it doesn't enjoy that. You might feel like you like it, but the body, it starts to produce some side effects. For example, increased estrogen. That's why some people get gyno. We see the increase in androgens and people often are getting acne. We see increased DHT. We see people losing their hair. Testicles shrinking. Cholesterol, it goes out of whack. And so oftentimes we then use polypharmacy. For example, people are taking Arimidex, or people are starting to introduce HCG, or maybe they're even using Nova. But as soon as you start introducing other drugs to combat the drug that you're taking, it's known as polypharmacy.
So if that's the case, then why don't young men hop on and reclaim their testosterone?
And so he's using the specific word reclaim. He's painting the picture as if anybody who has testosterone levels, you know, 400s, that there's somehow that's a problem. That they all should be at 1,000, that if you're not at 1,000, that There's something wrong with you.
Let's say you're 22 years old and you break your hip. Imagine if someone said to you, well, no, you shouldn't get the surgery right now. You should wait till you're older because that's the average age that people get the surgery. This is the fallacy of the age argument when it comes to TRT.
The equivalent example would be you fell skiing on your hip and you bruised it. You got a little bit of a sore hip and you go and get hip replacement surgery. Like, bro, you have a sore hip. It'll get better in a couple of days. Relax. His comparison, it makes no sense. I mean, does Hamza not think? Like, this example was horrendous.
You see, young men didn't need to take testosterone 10, 20, 30 years ago because our father's generation generally had enough testosterone when they were young.
Such bullshit. This isn't true that our fathers or grandfathers' testosterone levels were 1,000 and suddenly it's just in the toilet. This is bullshit.
If I'm gonna take it when I'm 30 years old, then what's the difference from me taking it when I'm 26 or 27?
Yeah, I mean, if I was going to wait until marriage, why not just have sex when I'm 12? If I was going to have sexy time for the first time when I was 19, why not just do it when I'm 15? What's the point? I mean, and if I'm going to start drinking at 19, which is legal age in Canada, or 21 in the United States, well, let's just start at 15. I mean, I'm going to do it eventually, so why not? Why not? Birth control, want it at 16? Start them at 10. Does this make sense to you? Just because you plan to do it later in life when you need it doesn't mean you want to have an advanced loan right now.
My level of anxiety dropped more than any other treatment or strategy I've used, including meditation.
The funny thing is, testosterone actually can increase anxiety. In many individuals, I've coached so many people, they're using low doses, equipoise, testosterone, whatever, and they have more anxiety, not less. And so just because you have anxiety, I mean, you're a normal human being, perhaps you're nervous going to approach that girl, doesn't mean you now hop on testosterone just to feel a little bit better.
And I finally had the courage to break up with my ex-girlfriend who I wasn't happy with.
This sounds ridiculous. Bro needed to take testosterone in order to break up with his girlfriend? Like, this makes no sense.
And I felt twice as attractive to girls, and this is bearing in mind that I was already really good in my dating life.
He felt twice as attracted to girls. You're either attracted to girls or you're not. And so perhaps he was feeling the itch. Maybe wanted to swing both ways, Perhaps he wanted to take testosterone to increase his urges, was hoping, if I take testosterone, maybe I really will like just girls. He was nervous. He wanted to experiment. Maybe, just maybe, he was scared.
I researched and learned that there's something else you can take called HCG that will turn on the sperm production even if you don't go off testosterone.
Of course, polypharmacy. I explained this earlier.
In the last 2 years, there has been 2 points where I stopped taking testosterone for about 1 to 3 months each time. And in both times, I didn't feel completely horrible like a lot of people said.
Now, I didn't feel completely horrible when I stopped for 1 to 3 months. Testosterone has a half-life, testosterone and enthate, most likely, or cypionate, which you've taken, approximately about a week. You don't even begin to feel like you have less energy for approximately 6 weeks. And so you stop for a month, it's as if you haven't even stopped at all. And so trust me, give it 3 to 6 months and then tell me how you feel. Because here's the point. If you stop for 3 months and you don't feel worse, what's the point of taking it? Like, does that make any sense? If you're using testosterone and you stop using it and you don't feel lesser, then why are you on it in the first place?
And whatever side effects there are for me have been absolutely worth the trade-off.
Of course the side effects are worth it right now. It's like saying to somebody, hey, is it worth it? You're drunk right now. Yeah, oh yeah, the side effects are worth it. It's amazing. Until you wake up the next morning hungover and throwing up. Everything is worth it right now. When you're blasting steroids, when I was blasting steroids, while I was competing in my 30s, 40s, of course it's worth it. Then you get older and you reflect and you think, what did I do? Why?
Would I tell you to hop on if you're 12 or 15 or 16 years old? No, of course not.
Hamza, being such an angel. I'm not recommending HRT if you're 12 to 15, maybe 16. It's too young.
But should men in their 20s start researching TRT? Yes.
But if you're in your 20s, I mean, you're now ancient. You should absolutely be researching TRT. No, you should be telling people in their 20s that they absolutely do not need it at all. Unless they're hypogonadal, they're struggling, their testosterone is in the toilet, they don't need it. What's next? Everyone who's depressed, you should go out there and get Prozac. Oh really, your girlfriend just broke up with you? You need to go to the doctor and get medicated. No, almost nobody needs it. So why are we pressuring people to use more drugs?
My one regret with testosterone is that I just wish I took it about 9 months earlier.
This is ridiculous. This makes no sense. What happened 9 months ago? Suddenly your testosterone was in the toilet? What, you had consumed just enough microplastics that suddenly your testosterone was in the toilet and you couldn't function? We don't need to use steroids. We don't need to use illegal drugs that you can try to get legally from doctors. If you want to see if you actually need testosterone, you can, of course, go to AlgoRx. You can use code Greg. And if your testosterone levels are in the toilet, as in they're actually low, perhaps then you can get prescribed testosterone, or perhaps all you need is enclomiphene. Maybe you need testosterone, but most likely the chances are slim to none that you actually need testosterone. Perhaps you can change your diet. You can go to sleep. You can not party as often. If you're trying to build more muscle than last time, Turk Builder Max or Turk Platinum, GO2 Max for improved cardio. The list of supplements, it goes on. You don't need to resort to using steroids in your 20s in order to have energy or to have a great physique. Interested in AlgoRx or HDLT supplements? Code Greg for your discount. Subscribe. Click the bell button, comment to boost the algo for AlgoRx as well. Go and watch one of those 2 bloops. You want to get sponsored or be an ambassador, coached by myself or myself and my team, or carry my supplements in your store or gym, please click the link in the description right now. And until next time, I am out.